Welcome to yet another episode of A Filmmaker's Brain. This week we're talking about Knives Out, who's made by Rian Johnson, that follows a murder investigation run by a private detective.
That's right.
When the renowned crime novelist Harley Thornburg is found dead but what seems to be a suicide, Detective Benoit Blanc believes that it's foul play. Yeah, so this movie is a comedy slash mystery crime slash whodunit movie
Yeah.
that actually got a lot of praise
Yeah.
and shocked a lot of people by being one of the nominees to an Oscar.
Yeah. And apart from the movies that we talked about so far in the podcast, this is actually a pretty recent movie because it was released last year.
Yeah, and it shocked a lot of people because of the fact that it's well, I don't want to say that it is, but it's a whodunit type of mystery murder.
Yeah.
But it has a really nice twist on it, which I really enjoyed, because coming into this movie I was like, I'm gonna sit there and it's another one of those, whodunit movies.
They're going to interview a few people. They're going to ask the questions.
Yeah.
They're going to left out some or leave out some clues and stuff. But then you end up into this movie and this story, and it drags you in from the beginning. Like, I don't know if you feel like this, but we actually talked about this yesterday when we rewatched the movie for the podcast, and I said to you that one of my favorite games when I was a child was Cluedo, which is basically a mystery game where you are supposed to decide who murdered who in what room with what weapon and stuff. And this movie instantly drags me in because it gives me the feeling of Cluedo from the beginning. And it's pretty serious in the beginning. You wouldn't think of it as a comic movie when you first see it. When I went to the movies with my partner to see it, I went in there not knowing a lot about the movie. And I was like, oh, hey, it's a mystery movie. Kind of cool. And when I'm in the middle of it, I was like, hey, that's funny. And then the next funny thing comes, and then the next funny thing comes, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Are you messing with the genre? But,
he is
They
really,
are.
and that's like the cool thing, because when you have a whodunit movie, you basically have these people like, okay, so someone died in this house, okay, one of those people did it.
Yeah.
Then you have this detective that goes around.
It's like the Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And then he gets an epiphany and whatever. But they go from that to what is called a crime film.
Yeah.
Which is basically that you have this detective, right? You're following a detective, and you're following the bad guy as well.
That's right.
In the same time, and the
without
viewer,
knowing that you're following the bad guy.
Well, in the if you look at the genre from a whole, well, you know who's the bad guy is. That's why. That's the difference. Because a good example is Catch Me If You Can.
That's right.
You have this detective running after the guy that we know everything about, and you know that he's doing these bad things, and
but you don't see him as the bad guy, because in that movie, I think it's a bad example, because in that movie they work a lot with your empathy towards the main character who's doing bad things, but you feel for him because he also has a bad back history.
Well, yeah, it's actually it's a good example, because who you think is the bad guy
isn't necessarily the bad guy.
Is not the bad guy, but they are telling you how the person died, right?
Right.
In the beginning, so they change genre, but then they change it again when you know that, well, okay, wait, it wasn't her that killed him. Because when he flips the coin and we hear her story and what happened that night, or we see it, we don't hear it.
Yeah, we see it.
We see it in her flashback, right?
Yeah.
and you're like, oh
And
shit.
with her, you mean the nurse of the man who died.
Exactly.
So to clear this out for people who didn't see the movie.
Well, spoiler alert. People know about
Well,
this.
hell.
Well, yeah. Well, hell. So,
Well, hell.
so you have old guy dies. The nurse injected him with the wrong medicine, or what do you think?
She?
Or did she? Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. They changed the genre, right? Right there and there, right there, and you get to know, like, all of a sudden now you know who done the murder, right?
The thing,
or how the murder took place.
that's right. But like the thing, to interrupt you for a second, the thing I like about this movie is that apart from a lot of other who did it films, there's a lot of characters in this one. Like, there's a lot of characters, and everyone has a big part. It's not just a bit in the backstory. It's like they all have a big part in what happened, and this movie works a lot with parallel storytelling. I got an accent there. But they work a lot with parallel storytelling, where they tell the same story over and over again, but the picture that we see differs from who tells the story. Because they all have their own version of how the night presented itself.
Yeah, and I thought that was like really important for the orientation.
Yes.
For the viewer, which I thought was like, it's perfect, you know.
But it's so risky to be messy, and I don't think that it does that.
Yeah, but
like,
it's
very
almost like,
risky,
you know,
to have that many
when
characters.
you watch the movie, you're like, I know exactly the timeline of that night.
Yeah.
Because you know everything that happened, because you've heard it so many times. And I think that's brilliant, because sometimes, or many times in movies, people get confused, and
That's
people like lose themselves or whatever, and well, they weren't, you know, concentrated. But sometimes you're giving too much information in just a small time, and people get confused. Well, he's showing you the same night and this, like, everything that happened several times, and I thought that was like perfect, because first of all, it's not filmed in the same way, right? So you get to see it from this other angle. Like you're talking about, depending on who is telling what, right?
Yeah.
So it might be the same thing that happened, but you see it in a different way, but it's the same thing at the same time. So that helps, like, really helps the viewer to get through it. And I thought that was like a brilliant way, just not only to tell a visual story, but like a timepiece, you know, or not a timepiece, but you're telling this in a time. You have this fourth dimension of time that you're also talking about.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like such a important thing of this movie.
Yeah, because I figured as one of the reasons why I like this movie so much, because I really did, and I'm grown up with mystery films. Like, my father used to show me crime movies far too early. I was really small when I started watching all these murder films and these like thriller histories and stuff. So, as you can probably think, I've seen it all, but I'm not. Like, I haven't. And what I like about this is that they invite you to be a part of the family that is all about, and they invite you to be a part of the game, because it's all a game. It's all like, it's very playful. Because it's being a comedy, you have the quirky aunt who always asks the stupid question, and she's very aware of the fact that she's stupid. She goes around like, I don't know. Like, she has this really quirky way of being. It's Toni Collette. She's one of my favorite actors of all time. So it's so funny. Like, I'm laughing so hard because in every movie I've seen her in, she's so smart. She's so sophisticated. She's so, like, serious. And then you see her in this movie, and she goes, I don't know. Oh my god, I don't know.
Well, I really liked how even like the detective is silly.
He's silly, and like a lot of it's contributing to his character is his Southern American accent.
Oh,
it does everything, and it's so epic. Like, every time he speaks, I'm going like, this is amazing, like, because and the thing is, they've done that to every character. Every character has something about them that is so outgoing that you will remember who they are. Like, even if you don't remember their name, because there are a lot of characters, you will remember who they are. Like, in a second, you see one of the brothers that were son of the man who died, and you will be, that's the guy who owns the book company, or, oh yeah, that's the husband of the woman who's he's cheating on. Like, you will instantly know. You won't lose track of the characters.
It's a really smart way of telling so much information about so many characters.
Yeah, and also, like, sometimes you don't tell a lot about the characters. Like, they're introducing them in the beginning of the movie by doing all the interrogation from the police.
So important.
Which is so important, but they're not telling a lot about the characters in the interrogation that much. But then you have, like, the daughter of the man who died. They tell the story about how she and her father communicated in a secret way.
Oh, yeah.
And it tells so much about the character. Not only about her, not only about her father, but their relationship together when he was still alive.
Well, you get to know that, like, her father also has this way of doing stuff with every single person.
Yeah.
Like with
he plays the game with
Martha. He plays this
both Martha and also with Ransom, who's his grandson.
Hugh did it.
Spoiler alert.
But I love the details.
Yeah,
I love the small details that
and also the fun details. Like there are so many things in this movie. Like if you would translate this to like a horror movie. There are so many jump scares, but in a comedian way. Do you get what I mean? Like, I don't mean it as jump scares, but suddenly this thing happens, and you go, what the fuck is happening right now? And then suddenly it's like, haha, kidding.
Well, her puking, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, but like both that, but I mean like the knife in the end and stuff like that too. That's like a jump scare.
That's so nice.
Like it's like comedian spoilers that becomes like translated jump scares in a comedian way.
But he actually... He brought it up in the beginning.
He did?
Well, not in the beginning.
Yeah.
When he was talking about like how people are dumb and they don't see the difference between a fake knife and a real one. But
there are so many foreshadowings, but also like what I also like about this movie, because like I said, when you have a story like this with so many characters, so many details, so many things that happen in a very short amount of time, it's so easy to mess up for your audience and, like you said, like get them confused. But they don't leave anything untouched.
No, they don't.
They don't leave any loose threads. They don't leave you with a thought that, hey, what happened to this person, or what happened about this, or like...
They follow up.
They follow up everything. Which now I'm losing myself. I don't remember how many movies he'd made before.
I actually don't know anything about him.
No.
Like, I have no idea if you've done different movies or what movies you've done.
No.
I didn't look it up, but like...
No, he's very new to me as a director.
Yeah.
So therefore, I haven't checked up a lot either. But what I was about to say is basically like, even if this is his first movie, great God, what did you do? And also, like, even if this is his 20th movie, I would still be, hey, man, you did a great job. Like, really? How did you even manage to put this puzzle together? I dream of making this kind of movie where everyone says, like, hey, I couldn't predict this, but at the same time I could, and I could follow through with all of your characters.
It's a great twist.
Yeah.
It's a great twist.
It's not just one. There are so many. Like, every twist and turn, and I think that they combine the storytelling so much with the technical part. Like, all with the sound effects. Like, they have a lot of diegetic sounds that cuts to the next scene, like with one of the police officers who's always the detective. He keeps playing on one note on the piano, key on the piano, like to break off the story. And at the same time, like, the camera work is amazing. They have this scene where everything is about to fall apart when Martha, the nurse, has realized that suddenly the old man has given her all of his money in his will. And she's like, what the heck is happening? And the family is going insane on her. And suddenly the camera goes from being still to suddenly be all handheld and going into her face and out of back again. And it's insane because it's so energetic, following the story and the feelings of the scene.
I love that. And basically the complexity of how the movie is made and just the story, how it's told.
Yeah.
It makes me just be wowed.
Yeah.
Of how much the filmmaker, the storyteller,
yeah,
is like it's a skill, right?
Yeah.
To tell a story, but he has it like he can talk that language fluent.
That's right.
You know, the movie feels so playful.
Yeah.
He's playing around with the story, and he's changing genres, and he's doing this and doing that.
And also everything looks very sophisticated.
Yeah.
Like the entire scenography and everything about the environment they're in, how they're dressed, how they look. It's very sophisticated, and it looks very serious, and therefore you take this entire movie and its story serious, even though you kind of feel that there's a comic there are comic points to it somewhere.
Yeah, but what I was getting at is that how he plays with all of that is so playful.
Yeah.
And so great, like he's a master storyteller.
Yeah.
Like it really shows that he knows what he's doing.
And also,
he know it so well that he can change stuff up and make it his own.
But he didn't write the script, right?
Yeah, he did.
He did write this. Okay,
yeah.
Well, yeah, because what one thing that I was about to say was that if he didn't write the script himself, how did you manage? But if he wrote the script himself, that explains a lot more. But still, like, even if he wrote the script, man, how you put something together like that. So I guess, like, we can both agree on the fact that we got wowed a lot. And, like, I saw it for the third time yesterday, and I'm still wowed, and I still see new things, and I still experience new parts of the movie. Like, this is a movie I could watch 10 times, which is a big review for me, like, because...
Yeah, I was actually gonna ask you about, like... because I think this movie is really rewatchable.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not a lot of movies that like I can just pick it up and say let's watch it again, or like have it in my Blu-ray collection and be like, okay, this movie is nice, let's watch it.
Yeah,
this movie is one of those movies, because watching it yesterday I realized that I did like oh yeah, right, whoa, what's going on, and I still get that feeling that I don't know what's gonna happen, even if I know how it ends, and I know the twists, and I know the turns and everything. I still are entertained, like really entertained,
which means a lot.
It really means a lot. I'm not gonna like exaggerate it, it's not like wow, best movie ever, but I enjoyed it for the fact that I didn't expect it to be so good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was one of the last movies I saw the trailer of. I stopped watching trailers. I haven't seen a single movie trailer the past like 3 or 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
And really it's because that I feel like trailers put up such an expectation for me,
mm-hmm.
that it in most cases might ruin the film. Because really good movies, the trailers are not as good, or
mm-hmm.
does not like treat the movie right.
I love trailers, but I'm totally different from you in that way, but not even in the way that it goes against yours. Like, the reason I like trailers is that you get a sneak peek into something, and I love when they are bad. I love when trailers are bad.
What is a bad trailer for you?
A bad trailer for me is, okay, so I'm stopping myself here because a really bad trailer is something that tells me everything that will happen. And I don't want that in 2 minutes. I want that in 1.5 hours. But a bad trailer for me that I like and that I think it's fun, it's like I get a bad trailer, but something inside of it says it's still worth watching. And then I watch the movie and the movie's super, super good. And then I go, well, fuck you, trailer, I guess. You know, I like being...
Do you mean like when you say a bad trailer, do you mean that a trailer is not reflecting
how good the movie is? Yeah. I like being overproven, basically. I like to be proven wrong. That
you like thinking, okay, this movie is bad.
It was like, let's say you say, hey, go watch this movie, it's super good, and I watch the trailer and the trailer is super bad, and I go, well, I guess I'll watch the movie and the movie is super good, and I'm like, well then, thank you.
Well, yeah, I really don't like trailers.
Yeah, well, let's not get stuck in trailers, but I get what you mean. Yeah.
Well, I had a sort of expectations for the movie watching the trailer.
Yeah.
And then I watched it and I was like, okay, so this movie is so much better than the trailer, and like it just makes me mad.
Yeah.
You know that I'm not gonna get stuck on trailers, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I love this movie so much.
Yeah.
Not the best movie ever, but it's not even in my lane. It's not a movie that I want to make, you know?
It really is for me. I think that's why I like it so much, both because, like, I even admire the grading in this movie. I even admire, like, I want this house. I want everything that's in it.
Yeah, you do.
I want the people in my family.
Yeah.
I'm going wrong now. But, like,
too much. Some are racist.
But some are racist. Did you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But what I say is basically this is really a movie up my lane. This is what I want to do. I want to trick the audience. I want the audience to have low expectations and get blown away, because that's what I feel about this anyway. And I would give this a really, really high rate anyhow if we rated movies, but we don't.
All right.
But I would really go high, because I believe that this is a movie that I will, during my career as a filmmaker, try to achieve.
Okay. That would be fun to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So count me.
Yeah,
I'll be there, you know.
I'll call you.
Call me.
Call me.
Hi, Karim.
Karim. I want a coffee boy on this shoot that I'm doing.
Do you want to be a runner? You need to have your own car. We're not paying you. Okay, thank you.
You get paid in exposure.
This is going to be so great for you. I'm going to tag you on Instagram.
You can put this on your resume, and I will totally answer the call if future... Oh my god, we're not going in. We watch movies that memes too much.
We have been there, done that.
I love the whole, like, look at the food I made from All Exposure that I got last week.
From All the Exposure?
Look how I paid.
Do you think I'm gonna eat this for lunch tomorrow?
Look how I paid my rent with all the exposure I got last month.
Well, it's all about using it right, or like the connections, I guess.
Also, like, I'm joking a lot about this, but I also know that the film industry has to be the way it is because of certain reasons.
Yeah.
Like, we can joke a lot about not getting paid, but a lot of people have worked. No, I'm not getting paid here, but also, like, a lot of people worked their way up without getting paid in the beginning and are now earning shit tons of money. So also, like, I think it's really hard to not...
You're
not going into the filmmaking business to earn money. You go into it because you love it.
That's true.
That's,
well, if you're making films.
That's a constant reminder for me. Because, like, whenever I stop... I think this is, like, we could even have an extra episode just talking about this, because I think it's super interesting.
So true.
But... I often have to remind myself when I end up in a... Like, I've been studying film since 2015, which is a long time, and I've been making movies since then because I didn't know shit about making films before that, and I was 20 years old by then, so, like, I've learned a lot.
I'm 20 now.
Yeah, well,
this is gonna be my future. Jesus Christ.
I learned a lot in the past 5 years, but once in a while I stop and I go like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I not choosing a profession where I will have food on the table every day? Or like,
Yeah,
you know,
I understand.
every horror picture of how my future life will be. But I always remind myself that this is also like, I've never had something that makes me so happy when I'm doing it, where I feel like, hey, pay me an exposure if you want to, that's fine. Like, I can work my shifts in restaurants or like driving delivery food or whatever. I can do that on the side as long as I can do this, because it makes me so happy and it makes a lot of other people's happy as well.
Well, we definitely can talk about this for so long.
Yeah, but we're not going to do that.
But like, I've thought about that, and I'm really like, I see it as, where am I in 10 years? Okay,
that's right.
Give me 10 years. I'll work on it, and I'll probably have found something.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be on the top or like making big movies,
but maybe not paid in exposure anymore.
You know, yeah, but maybe like on a set,
Yeah.
or on a set and making short films on the side. That's totally okay for me. I can work in like Espresso House and McDonald's or whatever, and save up money and make my own movies.
That's actually,
you know?
my father asked me when I was in high school, because I used to study theater and dramatic arts, and he asked me, and he said, and my father is a crime writer, to like put the map here. He's not like a high earned lawyer or whatever, but he said like, what's your plan? Like, are you going to work in the aesthetic area of department or whatever,
or are you gonna get a real job?
Yeah, basically like we were there but we were not there. And I said to him like, hey, I could sit on the supermarket from early in the morning to late in the night as long as I could use all of my free time to make art. Like, it doesn't matter if it's theater or if it's film or if it's paintings or whatever, but I'm fine with that. And he was like, well, then I don't worry anymore, bye. Like, he's
I'm
a
out
good
of
dad.
here. Yeah, he's a really good guy. And who better to give you that support, you know, and push you forward.
Well, like, actually, just to mention it fast, it's like he
just fast. We're not
just
gonna
to mention
we're not
it
gonna
fast.
talk about this.
No, but like, he started writing for his first newspaper when he was 15 years old, and today he's 62, and he's living off his writing.
That's pretty
like
cool.
He's living off his novels and what he's doing and what he's loving, and that was his lifetime goal, and he's already there.
That's pretty cool.
So I got a lot to go after. I got footsteps to follow.
You're like, oh my god, the expectations are killing me. But we need to close up, so...
We do. So we don't end up in last week's episode where it's all me for the last 8 minutes.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
No.
So, like, closing calls.
Yeah.
Closing calls. Train to Amsterdam. Get on the train or we're leaving without you.
Cool.
Who would you recommend this movie to?
Who are you? I would actually recommend this to my father, though.
Yeah.
Because I think that this would be a movie that he would not fall asleep to.
he gets really bored by movies? Or
he
what?
doesn't. He really doesn't. Sorry. He's a big movie lover, but it takes a lot to make him interested. And also when it comes to crime movies, he's seen it all. Like, he's really seen it all.
Probably.
So therefore, he would love this because it's a good combination of humor, mystery, reveals, and also crime.
Yeah, it's exactly like a donut inside a donut hole. With a smaller donut hole inside of it.
That's the best analogy.
Yeah, I love that was like, that is one of my favorite scenes ever. He's like talking, do you remember me talking about this donut and that we're gonna find the donut hole that is in the middle? And he's like, yeah, I thought about that and I realized there's an even smaller donut in the donut hole, and in that donut there's a donut hole missing. Jesus Christ. Okay, you wanna sign us off?
I wanna sign us off. Thanks
Thanks,
Thank you
Dad.
guys for watching.
Mom,
I want to
Dad.
thank my dad. I want to wave. No, but thanks guys for watching. Next week we're talking about